because of course we've been coming back to the economy all the time, but I want to link it to this notion of democracy. And there, I think I was on Face the Nation some time ago, and I raised this question about an independent central bank. Now, for me, a lot of these things, and this is what you just referred to, have been imposed on us. And basically, the independent central bank idea, which is in the Central Bank Act, is undermining a very important aspect of our democracy, and that is holding the important policymakers, not just the politicians, to account. Now, I have a different take on the US. I think actually it's one of the most undemocratic systems in the world, because if you look at the Federal Reserve, there is no accountability with the US Federal Reserve. They're only accountable to the rich elites. We've just heard 2 days ago that in the recent bank crisis, they actually transferred another $12.3 billion to the private sector. During the COVID crisis, we now know that they transferred something like $6 trillion. Now they want us to have an independent central bank that actually will not be under the democratic control of Parliament. No matter what they say, it's not going to be the case. To compound this, we now have domestic debt restructuring imposed on us. We are told that unless you do that, the foreign bondholders will not accede to restructuring. And
that's the usual case, no, Doctor?
No, it's not the usual case. Now you have to listen to just this very important point. When foreign bondholders buy Sri Lankan debt, it's on the presumption that it's risky. Why? Because the government does not print dollars. It prints rupees, but it doesn't print dollars. When a Sri Lankan bank or Sri Lankan company or an individual buys rupee debt, it's on the presumption that it's 100% risk-free. Now, the foreigner has said, you must treat us equally, even though the two asset classes are totally different. And that is why the foreigner gets far more than the person buying Sri Lankan debt. Again, my son did a quick calculation. If you held 5-year ISB, International Sovereign Bond, from 2014 to 19, you would have got on average 6.25% a year. If you held a 5-year Treasury bond, that's a Sri Lankan rupee denominated bond, you would have lost 4% a year. Now, that is why we pay, because the higher risk, the Sri Lankan government doesn't print dollars, that's why we pay foreigners a premium. But now they're telling us, no, forget all of that, you also have to take a haircut, because we are taking a haircut, even though the two asset classes are totally different. And the question I ask is, why aren't we fighting back against that? Why aren't we